Hey everyone, Sam Wilson with Wilson Custom Knives. Here to talk to you today about the L.I.T knife. L.I.T knife is a new prototype I'm working on, just recently completed. And as you can see, this is a little bit different than our usual hollow-handled survival type knives that we make here at Wilson Custom Knives. This one we decided to go with more of a Puukko style blade. I've always been a big fan of the Puukko style blades. They're very utilitarian, very pragmatic, and that's kind of what we're going for with this model. I wanted to make something that was light, that was effective, and we also want to try and get away from the cord wrapped handle, the ubiquitous handle on most hollow handled survival knives. Now, nothing wrong with the cord wrapped handle. It's very comfortable to a degree, maybe not as much for prolonged work as, say, a contoured handle. But it also provides you with the cordage that you can cut off and use in an emergency situation, which is what survival knives were essentially designed for, supposed to be designed for. So with the L.I.T knife, which stands for Lightweight, Incendiary, and Tender knife. We'll get into the name and why here in just a little bit. But with this one, we decided to go with a micarta sleeve. So this has a fully ovoid shaped micarta handle. It's very comfortable. It's not just a round tube. It's contoured in several different directions. So, it's going to really fit the hand well. It's not going to have the same tendency to roll that just a straight tubular handle would. And it's also going to give you all of the benefits and advantages of micarta, which, as we know, is really grippy as it gets wet, whether it's with mud, water, blood, sweat, whatever. It tends to grip really well. Those little hairs in the micarta fibers stand up and increase your grip. It insulates very well against heat and cold and shock, and overall it's just a very, very good handle material. If you're familiar with knives at all, whether you know it or not, you've probably handled micarta and thought, wow, what a great material, because it is. So the other thing we wanted to do was to keep weight very, very low. We wanted a very lightweight knife, and we accomplished that. The knife itself weighs in at under 5 ounces, like 4.6, 4.7 ounces. Each one is obviously going to be a little different because these are all handmade, custom knives made by me. So there's going to be some variation. But on the prototype here, we got it down to sub 5 ounces. And with the sheath, which we'll get into obviously in a little bit here, together the combined weight was under 7 ounces for both of them. That also includes the contents of the handle, which brings it back to the name. Lightweight Incendiary. So we wanted to have, instead of all the different possibilities that you can have for storage in a hollow handled knife, we wanted to have a dedicated fire steel. So basically this knife is designed to do one thing. Number one, cut. It's, use this like you would a regular knife. But then if you want to start a fire, need to start a fire while you're camping or backpacking or whatever it is you're doing, you've got a built-in fire steel. So we take off the aluminum butt cap here to the watertight storage compartment, and we have a dedicated 5/16 thick fire steel. It's just a little under 3 inches, probably 2.5, actually maybe a little bit under 2.5, 3 inches somewhere in there. That's built in, or it's permanently mated to the butt cap. So now you've got your incendiary part. There's just enough room left over in the hollow of the handle to store a little bit of tender material so that you have everything you need to start a fire. That goes back like that, and boom, you're back in business. I didn't get any really good close-up shots. There'll be some photographs at the end of the video, like usual, to show some of the close-up stuff, the detail work on this. This is not a Scandi grind, it's a flat grind. I left the edge here on this medium thick. I didn't want to go super thin because I wasn't really sure which direction we were going to go as far as the usability and how I was going to market that and how we're going to go. On future models, I'll probably go even thinner, but this one will easily shave hair and slice paper off your arm. Not in that order. So it's got a good working edge. It's going to be quite durable because people tend to like to baton their Puukko knives. So we try to cover those bases. We have a brass ferrule up here. We have green micarta for the handle, and we have red liners in between the brass up front and aluminum in the back. I had to go with aluminum for the butt cap and also for the handle tube because brass would have just been too heavy. It would have looked really nice accenting each other, but it just would have been too heavy. So that kind of covers that. These will be made out of O1 tool steel, hardened. I think this one's at 59 or 60, somewhere that's going to hold a really good edge, and just going to be a really good general purpose utility type knife. So we'll get into the sheath here real briefly. One with a back sewn Puukko style sheath. These are obviously molded to fit the individual knife. I've got a leather thong here to show this is set up for neck carry if you desire. I'm not a big fan of neck knives or neck carry, but they do kind of go with the knife, and some people love it. So this knife is light enough at a combined weight of knife and sheath under, 7 ounces. It's light enough if you want to go that route. So you have your knife. This does have the wooden insert to help protect you and give the sheath its shape and everything else. So there you go. You have your option that way. I've also got a hole I punched here and stitched in so that if you choose to make a dangler, you can attach it via a D-ring or whatever. I mean, there's tons of ways to make a dangler for these knives. They can be hung off your belt. The advantage of neck carry is especially in cold weather when you're wearing thick layers of clothing. You can't always get to your belt, so this can be carried on the outside and just dropped inside of your coat or jacket whenever you're walking around or doing whatever. When you need it, you simply pull it out. You can draw the knife, do whatever cutting chores or tasks you need it to do, and then you simply put it back in. And in a nutshell, that's pretty much it. So this was a design that I wanted to do for some time. As mentioned earlier, I really like the Puukko style of knife. They're all business. There's not a lot of frills. They're a very pragmatic style of knife. And those are fun to make because you don't have to worry about all the embellishments and the other problems that come into making a design, like saw teeth and chopping knives and other stuff, where you make a knife that does what it's supposed to do, and that's cut and slice. And Puukkos do that very well. Really excited because this came out even better than I had hoped with the micarta sleeve on there. It's very comfortable in hand. I think if you hand this to most people who didn't know what it was, they wouldn't know that it was a hollow-handled knife at all until you told them, or they kind of figured out what's going on with the knurling there on the butt cap. So very pleased. It all came out well. These are going to be very reasonably priced, so we're not going to go crazy with the fit and finish. You won't be able to see this, but the guard is nice and tight, or ferrule, whatever you want to call it. It's fit very well. The grinds are clean. The machining is done exactly the way I do the machining on the rest of my knives. The only thing that we're going to kind of do is, we're going to leave the forge scale on the blade. I'm not going to go crazy polishing things up to 600-800 grit like I do on some of my other blades. These are going to be left in a state that, it makes it easy to use them. You're not worried about all that first scratch. Brass will polish out easily if you do get scratches, and everything is going to be done right. We're just not going to go overboard with the fit and finish. That will help keep costs down and also make it easier for the end user to use it, to service it, and take care of it. So that pretty much covers that. There'll be, again, photos at the end of the video as usual, and I'll try and get this up on the website soon. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, or you can always leave questions below in the comments. There are more pictures and stuff on Instagram, and like I said, I'll try and get this on the website soon. Thank you for your support.